The sharp, gritty smell of fresh cement hit Tom Harper like a slap as he stepped into the familiar hallway of Willow Creek condominiums. It wasn't a scent you'd expect in this quiet, third-floor corridor, where the usual whiff was his mom's lavender soap or a neighbor's dinner simmering. Tom, a senior investigator for the city's emergency plumbing enforcement, knew that smell meant trouble, unpermitted construction, blocked drains, or worse. His gut tightened as he quickened his pace toward his mother's apartment. His Tuesday evening VY sit with Ellen Harper, a 78-year-old widow whose frail frame and warm smile were his anchor. When he rounded the corner, his heart stopped. Ellen's front door was ajar, and there she stood, trembling, her face pale as chalk, pointing a shaky finger down her short hallway. Not at the front door, but at her bathroom door, the only one in her small unit. It was sealed shut, slathered with a thick, still wet layer of gray cement, like some cruel prank gone horribly wrong. "Tom, oh, thank God," Ellen whispered, her voice thin with panic. "I can't get in. It's blocked solid." Tom was at her side in a flash, his shocked GIVYing way to the cold focus of his training. He touched the rough, hardening cement, confirming it was fresh, smeared thickly to glue the door shut. This wasn't a mistake. It was deliberate, a VY-sious act to trap his mother from her most private space. "Who did this, Mom?" Tom asked, his voice calm, but laced with a fury he barely contained. "Did you see anything?" Ellen shook her head, clutching his arm. "I was listening to my radio in the Lee VYing room. I went to use the bathroom just before you got here, and it must have just happened. The smell, it's new." Her eyes welled up, and Tom's heart sank. Ellen had diabetes and kidney issues. She needed that bathroom, not just for convenience, but for her health. This wasn't just cruel, it was dangerous. His eyes caught a faint smear of cement on the carpet near the doorframe, as if someone had wiped their hands in a hurry. Then he noticed it. The cloying, floral stench of rose-scented air freshener, the kind Dolores Finch, the HOA president, sprayed obsessively in the halls. Dolores, the self-proclaimed guardian of Willow Creek standards, had a thing about smells, cooking odors, laundry detergent, even a neighbor's lavender sachets had earned her wrath. Tom's mind raced. He'd heard her passive-aggressive jabs at Ellen before, snide notes about lingering aromas slipped under her door. But this was unhinged. Tom's first move was to get Ellen safe. "Mom, sit tight in the Lee VYing room. I'll fix this," he said, his tone steady but firm. He grabbed a pry bar and sledgehammer from the emergency toolkit in his truck tools he used to bust open blocked pipes or illegal setups. Back at the apartment, he studied the door. The cement was thick, sealing all four edges. Forcing it open risked shattering the frame, so he swung the sledgehammer, cracking the wood near the knob. The cement crumbled, still pliable, and with the pry bar, he wrenched a jagged hole big enough for Ellen to slip through. The bathroom air was clean, scented faintly with her soap, nothing like the noxious odors Dolores always ranted about. The only stench was the chemical reek of cement in the hall. Just as Tom helped Ellen inside, Dolores Finch herself stormed through the open front door, arms crossed, her face a mask of smug indignation. "Well, Mr. Harper," she sneered, ignoring Ellen's distress and the splintered door. "Vandalizing HOA property, are we? Smashing doors? This VY OLAT's bylaw 23, subsection D. Expect hefty fines. And what's that awful smell of dust?" Tom stared, stunned by her gall. "Are you serious, Ms. Finch?" he said, his voice low and dangerous. "You're complaining about saw when someone I'm pretty damn sure is you cemented my mother's only bathroom shut, endangering her health?" Dolores sniffed, unfazed. "Don't be dramatic. I know nothing about cement. Maybe your mother botched a DIY project. Some people aren't cut out for repairs." She pulled out a notepad, scribbling. "I'll document your damage, and I trust this unit's stench will be addressed promptly." Her lies were breathtaking, blaming Ellen, gaslighting them both. Tom's blood boiled, but he stayed composed. He sent Ellen to rest and filed a formal complaint with the HOA board, detailing the sabotage, Dolores's harassment, and the EVY denke, cement smears her air freshener scent. He included photos of the door and his forced entry. 2 days later, the board's response occurred, and signed email hit like a punch. They'd EU'd the case with Dolores and found insufficient evidence of malice. Instead, they claimed Dolores was addressing well-documented odor complaints from Ellen's unit, a serious breach of bylaws. They warned Ellen about hygiene and upheld fines against Tom for property damage. It was a whitewash. The board wasn't just clueless, they were in on it, shielding Dolores's insanity. Tom snapped into investigator mode. This wasn't just about his mom anymore. Dolores had crossed into criminal territory, and the board was complicit. Tom kept digging and uncovered a bombshell. HOA records, sloppy and vague, showed Dolores had funneled thousands to NVY Pure Solutions for odor remediation, over 2 years exorbitant fees for a company tied to her nephew, a shady operator with a trail of failed ventures. Dolores wasn't just a control freak. She was running a grift, inventing crises to siphon HOA funds. Cementing Ellen's door was either a desperate move to silence a target or a deranged escalation of her obsession. Either way, Tom had her dead to rights. He demanded an emergency HOA meeting, and the community room was packed, buzzing with anger and curiosity. Dolores sat at the head table, flanked by her nervous board, her face a mix of fake innocence and defiance. She launched into a tirade, painting herself as a victim of Tom's harassment and Ellen's hygiene violations. When she paused, Tom stood, holding a thick binder, his presence silencing the room. "Ms. Finch," he began, his voice cutting like steel, "your lies in tonight. We're here to discuss your crime, sealing my 78-year-old mother's bathroom with cement, endangering her life." Gasps echoed. Dolores shot up, shrieking, "Slander! You have no proof." Tom didn't flinch. He laid out his case like a prosecutor. Photos of the cemented door, the cement sample matching her HOA order, neighbor testimonies of her bullying, and the damning invoices to her nephew's fake company. With each point, Dolores's denials grew weaker, her face paler. Then Tom dropped the final blow. "Most of you know me as Ellen's son," he said, locking eyes with her. "What you don't know is I'm a senior investigator for the city's plumbing enforcement." He flashed his badge, the room dead silent. "I'm charging you with elder abuse, unlawful imprisonment, property destruction, and felony fraud. My report's already with the city attorney and police." As he finished, 2 officers stepped in, moving toward Dolores. She collapsed in her chair, her defiance crumbling into terror. They escorted her out, the room erupting in shock and relief. Ellen, watching her son dismantle her tormentor, felt a quiet pride amid her fear. Neighbors swarmed her with apologies and support, ashamed of their silence under Dolores's reign. The HOA board, humiliated, dissolved, and the city stepped in to overhaul the association. Dolores faced a brutal reckoning. VY tie-ins for elder abuse, imprisonment, and fraud, years in prison, restitution to Ellen and the HOA, and a permanent ban from any authority role. Her nephew's sham company collapsed, and he faced charges too. Willow Creek transformed. New leaders brought transparency, and the community rallied around Ellen, whose new bathroom door became a symbol of resilience. Tom, the son and investigator, continued his work, VYing free to community from a tyrant's grip. The cement stench faded, replaced by the warmth of newfound trust. What would you have done if you were Tom, facing a bully like Dolores? Should HOAs have this much power over people's lives? Was Dolores just a control freak, or was there something darker VYing her? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more wild stories.